Alright guys, let's sketch a car. So I'm gonna try to use my GoPro on a head mount and see the sketch from a different perspective, I guess. So just gonna have some fun with it, see how it turns out. Let's put some music on first. Alright, so yeah, let's start sketching something. Ellipses is always good to start with. Actually, I'm gonna turn it down in my headphones a little bit because Jeezy is yelling at me. Just some random shapes. What I'm using here, I'm using this. Big round stick is my favorite pen. And this paper is... what kind of paper is this? Let's see. Strathmore Drawing. If anybody's interested in what kind of paper I use, that's the paper I use. Let's see if we can shade these things, make them basic shading. So when you start to shade your sketch, what to think about? Well, I start with the lightest gray. Right now this is a Cool Gray 3. And I go from there to darker and darker and darker to whatever. If I want black, I'm gonna use black. Actually black, I put out the blacks first. So like if I want a black baseline here, I usually put that out first. But for the rest of the shading, I just go from light to darker. So alright, guess I'm cool with that. Cool Gray 3. So I'm gonna go to, you can pick 6 if you want, or you can use 5. I'm gonna be bold and go for 6 immediately. Now every time I start here, I'm kind of afraid I'm gonna mess it up. I don't have control Z here if I mess anything up. So that's always gonna be there when you do markers. But the only way to practice is to just waste a bunch of paper and yeah, get the sketching going. Make mistakes. It's gonna happen. Happens to me all the time. Probably made a few mistakes here already. For right now, for example, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just trying to get the shading somewhat correct. We can go even darker than that because I wanna fill in this baseline here. So obviously the light is coming from here. We have shading here and on the parts that in the shaded area. So that means that the light is coming from here. I'm gonna go with Cool Gray 10. It's almost black. Let's check that out. See, I think I'm being too cautious now. It's just ridiculous. Just put the line down and don't think about it too much. I think that kind of thinking is what made it. It took me so long to learn markers because I was so afraid of just sketching. I was so afraid to just put the sketches down on paper because I was so used to digital and I was so used to Control Z and then you don't have it with analog sketching. So that was kind of I'm just gonna go back to Cool Gray 5 here because it's kind of a too sharp. Something like that, just a smooth that shade out a little bit. Do we want to sketch a car? I guess we do, right? So yeah, let's get into it. Just make a quick little side view of my favorite kind of car, which is two-door coupe. So to start with, what to think about? Well, I usually start with a baseline. It doesn't matter if it's in perspective, three-quarter rear view, front view, whatever. I always start with a baseline, so that's a baseline. What you want to do here now is put out the wheels, so you get the proportions. Let's say we have the wheel, rear wheel there, and then here, you know, normally when you practice the proportions, I think you're supposed to have 1, 2, 3 wheels or something like that in between the axles to make it look right. And don't worry about stuff like this, like the line quality. Right now it doesn't really matter. And I like to just really quickly sketch out the rims because it gives me a better reference. And from here, you start to design the silhouette of the car. And as you can see, I'm keeping my wrist locked. It's not moving. I'm sketching with my shoulder and elbow. And why? Because that gives me a smoother lines, and they're not gonna get like edgy and jagged. We don't want that. We want smooth lines. So sketch with your elbow and shoulder. If you're not used to that, just practice it. So weird rear end, but I'm gonna keep it something different. And as you can see, I'm filling out the baseline more than the other lines because this is the line that's closest to the ground, so it's gonna make it look planted. Actually, I really don't like this rear end here. I'm gonna try to fix it, see what we can do about it. Yeah, whatever, that's better. Always thinking 3D here. So this is not a flat side view. It's not a piece of paper that you can just flip and it's going to be flat. It's a car that has depth to it, which means that the wheels, for example, here on the far side is going to be visible. You're gonna be able to see them. This is basic perspective training. The vanishing point is here, or actually over here in the horizon, so all the lines go back to that point, which means that the wheels are gonna be visible here. Also, you might wanna think about the wheel arch and how to incorporate the front light. Maybe you wanna do something like this, so you have you can see the side of the front light like that. Same with the windscreen. You probably, if you look at a car from side view, you see the windscreen quite a lot. So you want to sketch that out as well, something like that. Now I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this sketch. Test video with the GoPro. First time I'm ever doing this with the GoPro. And I would love to hear your comments about it. If you like it, comment and say that you want to see more videos like this, and I'll be happy to make them, but I'm not going to make them if nobody likes them. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, and I'll be happy to do more. You can also let me know if there's anything specific you want to learn. How do we want the rims? I'm just going to make them generic. 5-spoke, something like this. Alright, I think I'm done with Jeezy. I'm gonna put something else on here. Just a second. I have my sketch playlist, which is like Hans Zimmer and a lot of movie scores, which I like to listen to when I sketch. I'm gonna put that on. Alright. We also need to show that there is a way to get into the car, which is usually through a door. So I want to put that out. Right now I have no idea what I'm doing here. I'm trying to put some lines, weird lines, to have some design features on the body of the car. Alright, I think that's good for starting to get in with the markers. Yep, let's do markers. So I like these new greens I got, so I'm gonna use them once again. I think I have one more here somewhere. Oh. So I'm gonna use these. And same here, I'm starting with the lightest one, which is this one. What to think about here? So you have the horizon line. And the horizon line is going to be reflected in the side, in the body of the car. Usually up to the shoulder line. And we have the light coming from the top, so the top parts are going to be a little bit lighter than the rest of the car. So let's just start. And this is not marker paper, so it's going to bleed. But that's fine. It just makes it look like a sketch. Kind of like it when it's a bit dirty. Doesn't bother me that much. So this white part here, that's a surface that's facing upwards. So I'm not sure if I'm gonna keep it light green or just plain white. I'll think about that later. So that's kind of the basic first layer of green. Now I can go on to the next shade, which is a bit darker green. And we want to fill in the middle part of the body here. Usually that's it. That's the part which is going to get darker and darker. The narrower you get, the darker it gets. It's kind of difficult to explain, but maybe want to put something here too. Kind of want this part black or dark gray. Lettuce green. As you can see, it's a bit darker than the other two. And I'm just really narrowing it down here in the middle with this, the darkest one. Something like that. I want to go back to this, the brightest one, because I want to fill in these areas here. I think it's not supposed to be totally white. It's still a green car, so I want to fill these out a little bit more. Okay, we're done with the green, so let's move on to the black, which is going to be the baseline. Right there. I was gonna make the wheels black. And the line around the window. Also the reflection in the window. Why not? Let's make that black. Now tracing this, it might be tricky, but that's just a matter of practice. Just just practice it as much as you can. So let's real dirty sketch. Perfect is ugly anyway. Perfect is boring. There's nothing wrong with it. It gets kind of boring. So make mistakes. Do your thing. So now I'm gonna go into I'm gonna use a Cool Gray 7 here to get some shading on these rims here. And the light is coming from, I always keep in mind that the light is coming from the top, which means that these spokes are going to cast a shadow on the rim, like on the inside of the rim there. Same here. And I guess, I mean, if we want, we can call this finished, because this would make a perfect practice sketch, right? It looks alright. I mean, it looks dirty, but it doesn't matter. You can still see what it is. And we still got our daily practice in. Oh, one more thing. We kind of want to put in some highlights. So, where's my favorite? Here. So this is what this pen is called. Hit Artist Pen White 101. And what it does, it has a thick, I don't know if you can see that, but it has a thick tip here, which kind of gives it some cool, can make some cool reflections here. I wouldn't overuse it. Like here, maybe this is a bit too much. It's fine. If you want to go in for the details, I use a Posca Uni Posca pen. And I use this, it has a fine tip. And it gets really white when you get in there, so be careful with this one. Just put the highlights wherever you want. Just keep in mind where the light is coming from and it shouldn't be a problem. The edge of the rims, the edge of this window frame here. Where else? Yeah, the door cut line. Stuff like that. And for the final thing, I'm just going to go over it one more time with a Bic pen to fill in the lines that got messed up by the markers. I don't want this all black actually, so just going to make the lines, the outlines black. And work on the rims a bit more. The Transformers soundtrack is amazing. A lot of energy. I like it. And if you want, you can add a background of any kind you want. This is the most basic background you can make. So that's about it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I don't know if I made this video just for nothing, but I would like to hear from you if you want to see more videos like this. Do you like the GoPro? Is it too... Do you get motion sick or something? Or would you rather have me just mount the GoPro on something? Let me know. I'll be happy to do more of these if people want to see them. Alright, so take it easy.